Hey, I'm Sven Masterson, one of the mentors and co-founders of the Mentoring Men community. And in this video, I want to talk to the man who is wondering, how do I know when it's time to move on? How do I know when the words my estranged wife is saying about wanting to be divorced or separated or end the relationship, how do I know when those are real, when they're true? And we talk to men about these things a lot. We generally meet a good bit of the men in our community not long after the woman in their life has said something like, I need space, or I love you but I'm not in love with you. And oftentimes she has escalated to the point where she has said, I'm having an affair, I want to be separated, or I want to be divorced. And it can be really a trying, emotionally draining time for the man involved, trying to figure out exactly how much effort he should give towards trying to turn the relationship around. And when a man starts that process, it becomes very emotionally complex, figuring out how to know when he's done enough, how to know if it's going to work out, and just how to know in general what's going to happen. And so men ask us this all the time. How do I know that it's going to be okay if she said she's done, right? And so this could be really, really, really challenging for the man involved in this. And there's a greater thing at work here that I want to talk to you about in this video. And it's really behind why there's so much hand-wringing and consternation for the men involved. It's because they've actually started to look at all of the future, and specifically what happens to them in their future, through the lens of what their wife does. Okay, so I have in my hand here a compass. I grew up, spending time in the woods, and then worked in outdoor retail and guiding a little bit, and I've always had a thing for compasses. I've always appreciated them, and when I was learning outdoor skills, I was learning them in the days prior to GPS. GPSs, are pretty cool, but they've also removed from us some of the pleasure that comes from learning to navigate and what's called orienteering through a map and compass. And it's really a shame because there's so much for a man to learn about life from a map and compass. And so what happens when you have a map and compass is you take your map, and every map has like a little north line on it, and you align your compass to north, and what you do first is you get your bearings, which means you figure out where you are based on your map. And then once you are aligned to your map, to your surroundings, you use your compass to plot your course. You use your compass and its propensity or its capacity to point to magnetic north to figure out, how do I go from where I am to where I want to be? Now, a compass is a brilliant tool for this. It's a tool that not only helps you figure out where you are, but specifically how to go where you want to go. And I want you to think about a male heart as having an internal compass. You were born with this compass, and it's a compass that has actually been trying to point north and show you both the capacity to know where you are and also your capacity to navigate you to where you want to be. But we lose sight of how to use this compass early in life. And what happens is we start to trust other people's opinions, other people's judgments, other people's compass, other people's maps. And we just completely lose touch with our own map and our own compass. And in a divorce or a separation, what happens is a woman has basically said, I'm taking my map and compass and I'm going over there. And so the men who are left behind oftentimes are feeling just completely lost. And so we start to give them a map and compass back, or they find their own compass and they get it out. But there's an interesting thing about a compass, and I want to show you, right? So I don't know if you can see this needle spinning here, but one of the downsides of a magnetic instrument is that when it's too close to ferrous materials, like sometimes engine compartments in a car, the the magnetism in those materials manipulates the needle. So I have a magnet in my hand here, and I want you to look at this little needle here and watch what happens. You see how it's screwing up my needle, right? And this is what happens in a man's life when he is trying to navigate, but he's too close and fixated on what the woman in his life is doing. It's like having this brilliant tool called a compass, but being too close to something that magnetically pulls your compass out of line. And so this is one of the chief problems in a man who is in this spot relationally, is he's so fixated and he's so desperate to know what's up with his girl that he's getting so close that as she moves throughout the day, his compass needle is all over the place. And so he can't help but continue to feel lost because he's not actually setting his compass to north, he's actually setting it to her. And so if you're a man who is trying to figure out your relationship, the very first thing you need to do, and I know how paradoxical it feels, is you need to move away from focusing on what the woman in your life is up to. I'm not saying you need to be cold. I'm not saying you need to be a jerk. I'm not saying you need to get physically away from her, although that's probably a good idea. I'm saying you need to create some distance in your heart and in its attachment, its fierce enmeshment with what she's doing. Because women are flexing too. She's all over the place. She's trying to figure things out. And if she's moving around looking for north and your north is pointed to her north, you're never going to be able to navigate anywhere. Your compass is going to be like the needle here, just spinning around in circles. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel waiting. You're going to throw your hands up in despair and say, I cannot be unstuck and unlost until she comes up with stability. Now, ironically, this is one of the main reasons she has wanted to move away from you in the first place, because you have lost your capacity as a man to guide yourself, and instead you've looked to her for her guidance. And because you're so fixated on what is she doing today, what is she doing today, you get agitated or scared when she's having a bad day. And so she has felt this as pressure because she doesn't want to be your magnetic north. You already have a magnetic north. What she wants is the freedom to be her, to be herself, and not have her day-to-day feelings and actions and whatnot so greatly upset your ability to navigate through life. But this becomes woefully apparent when a relationship breaks. And so what we try to help men do is first just to peel them away from these magnets, the magnetic pull of desperate energy gets focused on a female, and learn first of all to just quiet yourself, to just be okay. And this is a huge benefit of a community of men who can kind of help create a buffer between your erratic heart and the pull of a female. And we first help a man to just kind of find his magnetic north. Now, this does not happen in days. It doesn't generally happen in weeks. It usually takes a few months. Because what that man is learning to do is he's learning to trust his compass again. Because he's been trusting really a tool that was pointed at her. And so we have to teach this man, okay, where is magnetic north? Where is your true north as a man? Now, true north for a man is his value system, is his deeply ingrained, unquestionable truths. We sometimes call these nuts, his non-negotiable, unalterable truths. And he has to get clear about these. And he has to know what is really him, what is unapologetically, authentically him. He has to figure out what north looks like on his compass. He has to learn, oh, my compass will actually show me that if I get all the interference in the form of other people's focus out of my life. And what we do then is we help him to get clear about what is your map? Where do you want to go? Where are you going? She can't be your map. She can't be your map and compass. You have to be that stuff. A woman doesn't want to be in a relationship with a man where she is the adventure. She's the map, and she's on the hook for everything. She wants you to know these things about yourself. She wants to know that you're living a life, that you're going to go on that adventure, whether she's with you or not, because your life is important to you. Now, I don't mean to say that she doesn't want to be important to you, but the woman in your life, to have a healthy relationship, cannot be your life. She can't be the navigator. She can't be the compass, the map. She wants to be a person that is going with you because you're going somewhere that looks appealing. And the reality is, a lot of times a man who's in a divorce or separation, he is so confused with his orienteering because he's been following her and her, whatever her day-to-day emotional temperature is. He's just lost this stuff. And so we get him clear on the map, or on the compass, and we help him get clear on the map. And that map is also written in his heart. It's the deep desires he has when he's not afraid, when he's not anxious, when he's not ashamed, and when he's not insecure. And this can be really hard for a man to find because he has spent so much time in those four energies, those four pillars of suffering, that he's forgotten that he had a desire. He has forgotten the things that emblazon his heart with passion and fire. And when we teach him to just settle down for a while, to know that he's okay, to orient himself first, to find his true north, and then to understand what his map is showing him, then we teach him the next thing, which is how to use that combination, the combination of the magnet, the true north heart, the compass, and the map, and to start going that way. And when a man figures that out, it answers the question of what happens next, because he realizes something that is critically important. And I want you to make sure you hear what I'm saying. That she can never answer the question of what's next, because the map she has is the map for her, the compass for her. And so when a man learns to read his own map and compass, when he learns to figure out what his own heart and the truth in there is saying, what his own map is saying about himself, it answers the question, because it takes the responsibility for answering that question away from other people, and it brings it back where it rightfully belongs, which is within. The only person who can confidently know that I'm going to be okay in my future, aside from if you believe in some sort of creator or spiritual being, is me. There is no one else on planet Earth who can tell me what my future is going to be like, where I should go, what I should do, how I should be, how I should get there. When I was a kid, I had lots of people telling me that stuff, but part of becoming mature as an adult human male and female is we have to start taking responsibility for this stuff. And a lot of us never did, not until we had conflict in a relationship. And so this conflict becomes an opportunity to grab the map, grab the compass, learn how to use them together, and learn how to figure out what's next for me. Now, I'll be crystal clear here. A lot of men don't want to do this. You know why? Because they're scared that if I figure out what my map and compass say, maybe she won't be on that map. Maybe it'll be too late. I'll never see her again, and I'll feel woefully alone and disconnected and unhappy. And I get that, right? Well, I want to assure you that in that process I talked about, where you're learning to find your map and compass again, one of the things you're also learning is that desperation to know that she is in your life in the future is actually not love. It's not coming from a good place. It's coming from an unhealed place that doesn't believe that you're already okay and that you're already enough. And ironically, the more that part of your heart stays that way, the more certain it is that she cannot and she will not be part of your future. However, paradoxically here as well, the more clear you get about your map and your compass as a man, and start going on your journey, and it has to be something you're committed to, whether anyone is with you or not, the more likely and probable it is that she will join you, because you are finally, for once, walking according to your map and compass instead of hers. And so I understand very well this fear that if I go, I might go alone. But it's a thing that every man must face. It's part of learning to be unapologetically authentic. It's part of learning to be confident that who we are is enough, and that who we are is enough to meet our needs in the future. Now, a lot of people think doesn't that mean you're going to be alone? No, it doesn't, right? In fact, you don't actually know connection until you know how to connect with yourself, how to be okay with just you and your mapping compass and start going. And that guy, the guy who knows how to be alone and okay, is the best possible person to connect with, because what he has to offer is not neediness. It's not this kind of desire to leech off somebody else's map and compass. He's a free man. He's an open-hearted man, a man with a clear heart, a clear sense of where he is and where he's going. And those are the most attractive kind of people to be around. Now, I know we've used a lot of things here and whatnot, but I hope it's been helpful for you to have this picture of your map and your compass. And I have a good estimate from talking to a lot of men around the world that if you're like many men that will watch these videos, you're not familiar with this. You know it's there. You have some experience with it, but maybe the last time you felt like you had a clear map and compass for yourself was maybe in your early 20s, and something happened, life happened, you got busy, you became a dad, you became a husband, and somewhere you left this map and compass and you've entered the Groundhog Day existence of just getting up every day, going to work, trying to be a good husband, trying to be a good father, but in reality you feel like an Uber driver, a cash machine, a security guard, and you have no idea where these went. And if that's you, I want to invite you to connect with us. We know how to help men find this again. We know how to help men find this again. And we get up every day, all of us in our community, to help and encourage one another to get back on that path and to head in a direction that's life-giving. And it just so happens to turn out that when men head in that direction, the majority of the time, way more than the national average, it heals the broken relationship. Now, again, we can't make promises for that, but we do say without apology that we haven't seen men heal relationships without this kind of inner work. And so if that interests you, if you would like to take a journey of understanding your map and your compass a little bit better, you want to find that, you want to know how to clearly orient yourself and move through life as a bold, courageous, calm, and confident man, I want you to scroll down below this video, look in the description, and you'll see a link where you can reach out to us. You can set up a completely complimentary call with myself or one of the other mentors in the Mentoring Men community. We will talk to you about where you think you are, what kind of magnet is screwing with your compass, and we'll get to know you. We'll get to know what's going on, and we'll start right in that call, helping you to clarify this again, helping you, to at least hunger for this. This is not something we can help you find in the first call, but we want to start that journey. We want to help you with that, and that all begins with that free session. You can find that link below. Now, if that feels too intimidating and too vulnerable, and believe me, we get it. Like talking to strangers that you meet from YouTube videos is a big ask, and we respect that. And so we have another way you can connect with us, which is just to scroll down a little bit further, and you'll see a place where you can request to be just entry into our community. And you'll have a shorter call with us, which will just be to get to know you a little bit, make sure you're a real human male, and then we'll invite you into our community. That's very low risk. It's not really any commitment other than a small financial fee of $25 a month. But then you could also start to explore some of these things. You can find that link below as well, where we talk about an invitation to our community. So with that, I'll wish you the best as you try to understand your future. I'll tell you or encourage you to keep on keeping on, right? You can and you must find this again. You must put these two things together and learn how to orient yourself. If you do, I promise you it will lead you to the best life possible for you. And with that, I'll say goodbye and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.